Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw tips and tricks. Just yesterday, I drew this and made this and explained how to make it. And somebody sent me a message off one of my videos. And how would you make it if you wanted like slats, like a real chair or a real bench? I didn't do a great job for the one I'm doing this for. This is a pickle to put together because you're working with both sides. I'm going to work on in a couple of days, like a lock joint that would come through there because you're trying to put all 10 pieces in there at one time and then glue it. And if you have no interest in ever drawing anything like this, just stop watching. So we're going to draw one off my other bench because he already has it. This thing is almost 7 inches, so we're going to set our nudge factor on 8. And I've already made a copy, so I don't have to worry about it. Now, to get rid of the circles, matter of fact, I'm going to mirror this. I want to go this way. You've got to go to Object and break the curve apart, and then you can delete the circles. We're not going to need the circles anymore because we're going to not use the pencils. That'd probably be the easiest thing to do is just move that. Now, we're going to use 1/8 inch plywood, so we want it right on the edge, but we don't want it to the top because we want our joints in here. So what we need to do is alter this. And before I do anything, you want to make a duplicate of it and move it over. Now, for some reason, it just did that, but that's because we broke the curve apart. But we're going to go ahead and fix that. Now, well, I didn't make a copy of that. Now we're good. So I need to trace a line to kind of put our slats on, but I can't just contour this because it's got too many facets. So I'm going to take the 3-point curve line and I'm going to go from that node to that node, whoop, and then click that node to that node and click that node to that node and click. So that's stopping it from getting in there. But we also need to get rid of these slots. That's really easy. Just take these two nodes and hit delete. Take these two nodes, right click and turn it into a line. Now it's a little bit, it really messed up our chair on that. Let's see if we can do it without messing up our chair too much. There we go. Delete them individually. Because we don't want those little notches when we contour. And matter of fact, we're not really going to use this shape anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it changes it or not. See, it changed that a little bit. But I'm going to use the top shape. So I'm just going to delete those. And I can delete these individual and it will not change the shape too much. Now, so we have this shape. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. Well, I also need to do the legs because I don't want the legs interfering. I forgot about that. And the reason I made a copy of it so I can just, when I kind of put it back together. So I'm just going to go there and go there, kind of stay close. Now I'm going to Smart Fill this and we have our shape. Now I'm going to left click, right click. And I only want to use the interior lines. So I'm going to take this right here and break it apart. Right click, break apart. I'm going to want that one, right click. No, you know what? I don't want to do that yet. I need to contour. No, yeah. So what we're going to do, we're going to contour. We're going to go to effects and contour 1/4 inch to the inside. That will give us, and see the couple of places that I really messed it up, right there. We need to smooth that out because the contour tool will exaggerate everything you're doing. And I think nope. See, I broke that one apart. You know what? I probably have to put these back together. So now I'm going to contour it and hopefully it'll do it. One step. So there's our line. This is 1/4 inch off our surface. Now I've got to select it all, go up to Object and break the contour part. Now I'm going to grab this and I'm going to click that, right click and break it apart. I'm also going to do the bottom. I'm going to right click, break apart. And I'm going to go to right there, right click, break apart. Now I can delete all these other lines. And I just have those two lines. Now I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to go up to Object and break the curve apart. And then that way, these are two different lines. Now, I played around with this, and there's really no way to blend it or Object to Path. You're almost going to have to do it manually. And I did it with 1-inch slats. If I was going to do it for real, I'd probably use 1/2-inch slats to get more of the curvature. But for the video, we're going to do 1-inch slats. So I'm going to make a 1-inch slat that is the thickness of our wood, which is 0.125. I've got my ratio locked, so it's not changing both of them. Now I need to make my little bitty tab to go into the wood. And we're using 1/8 inch wood, so we're going to make it 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch. 0.125, 0.125. Now I'm going to select both these, and I'm going to hit EC, but I'm going to turn this one black, just so we'll know. And I'm going to group it together. Excuse me. And like I said, you can't really, and we need to remember that we're going to put one here. So we're going to start right there, so that one won't be interfering with this one. So we're just going to have to get on that line and manually turn it over here, hit the plus key on the keyboard, move it over, and, just get it close. I don't even think align and distribute would work in this case because we're on that angle. But as long as you're close, plus key on the keyboard, and it doesn't really matter if it goes a little bit past, but we want on that center, and then we rotate it, it'll be on the center. Now what I'm going to do is just make sure it's going to fit inside of our chair. And it does. So we're good to go. So let's move that back. And I'm going to steal one of these. I'm going to take a copy of it, hit the plus key, and then I'm going to turn this one vertically. And I wish blend would work, but blend doesn't really work. And we're going to go past this, and we're going to look at this to make sure it's going to fit. See, it's going to fit, even though you go past, because we don't need it probably that far past. Okay, whoop. Just so they'll and they won't touch. Control D or hit the plus key and move it up. And if I figure out a way to make test, now the angle of the board right now isn't that critical because you've got a little bit of movement in this joint. The main reason for the video is to kind of show you. So I hit the plus key on the keyboard and moving this one up. And if you were doing it for real, you'd probably want to maybe double check your measurements, space them out. I tried align and distribute, and it just wouldn't do it. So I had 10 on the first one. Assuming I'm going to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I put another one at the top, but we just need to make sure it's going to fit. And also I started down here lower on mine. So really, let's see how this looks on the chair itself. I think it's good. You could space these out a little bit more. You could take this one up a little bit, and space them out a little bit more, even just as long as you're in that center. Because now I'm going to show you how to put the holes in the wood. So let's call that good. I'm going to move that chair out of the way. And I'm going to try to grab our line. And you can see that I did. And I'm going to grab our line. And I didn't. Grab our line, and I did. So now what I'm going to do, this is our original chair. I'm going to move this up to there. And you can kind of see this is one we want to keep, and we're not touching anywhere. So what we're going to do, well, first of all, we're going to move that out of the way, and I'm going to smart fill this to make sure all the shapes stay together, because I had some movement a while ago. Now I'm going to move these shapes over here, and I am going to smart fill these little black boxes. So boom, it doesn't matter what color, I'm just making a box. And this is what the wood's gonna cut through our sides of our chair. And like I said, if you ever don't have any interest in drawing this, just going about your business. I mean, you might learn a tool or two. Now we could do two things. We're going to go and just nudge these over individually. We don't have to, because I'm going to turn them all into cut lines here in just a second. Let me move that out of the way. So then just take all these and left click no fill, right click outline, make sure it says a hairline. There's our bench. Now the one I actually made, and the one we made yesterday, or I made with the pencils, there was nothing holding it together. So this is still the slats to hold it together. But if you glue this, it doesn't really need that. But I would, the first time user, I would go ahead and do it. I didn't do it on mine, but it was a problem making it. Now, so if you remember, we have a 1-inch slat, but we're going to use this as a reference because this is the thickness of our chair with this. So we're going to take, let me zoom in. I'm going to take my parallel dimension tool. I'm going to measure from right there to right there, and I got 3.77. So I need to make a box that is 3.77 by 1 inch. And like I said, if I was going to do this and really make a chair, I'd do 1/2-inch ones and have more of them. Now we need to put those little nubs on there, and this is pretty easy. Just take a square, hold down the control button, and make it, let's lock our ratio this time. So we only have to type in 1.125. That square is there. So I'm going to hit P and put it in the center, P, put it in the center. It's a lot easier working in the center of the page. There's my little parts. Let's, I don't need that chair anymore. Let's just delete it. And delete this and delete that. Now, the reason I put that in the center is because I want it in the center. But I'm going to change my nudge factor to 0.125. Okay? And I'm going to select both those. I'm going to hit T. Now I'm going to select that and nudge it up 0.125. Now I'm going to put this toward the bottom. Whoop, I didn't make a duplicate. Let me go back up. Hit the plus key on your keyboard, make a duplicate. This time, we're going to select that and select this and hit B like in bottom. And then nudge that down that inch or 1/8 of an inch. Now I'm going to take my virtual segment delete key and I'm going to delete that line and delete that line. And if you watch enough of my videos, you know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. And what that did, that created a new object. And we are good to go. So you need 10 of these, 3 of these like in the normal chair, and you need the chair. So this one is no good anymore. This one is no good anymore. This one, I would get everything off your screen and keep this. So here's your chair. So we need 2 of these. So Control D or hit your plus key. And you know what, I'm going to actually group it together so it won't change. So I'm going to select it, Control G, hit the plus key, move it out of the way, flip it both directions just to say wood, and then put 3 of these somewhere. You really don't need them, but it just all depends on how you put together. And you need 10 of these. So if this is 1 inch, the way I would do it is make them your nudge factor 1.1, plus key, move it over, Control D, till you get 10. Now, if you don't good at counting, you can select them all. I've got 12, so I can take 2 of them away. And now I can select them all, I've got 10. So I need those 10. So you'll be able to cut that chair out with that. I'm not going to share this one. I've shared these 2. And by the way, this is the new, if you watched all the video, this is the new S that somebody requested, and it looks pretty good. Anyway, kind of a fun project. Hope that helps somebody someday, and thank you for watching.